We are here today with Mike Witzak. That's me. And
We starting?
yeah, I guess we're starting.
Roll into it. I'm Rory Farrell,
right.
loan officer here at Marathon Mortgage and co-host to the Marathon Mortgage Happy Hour. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. So, should we start off with a beer, or what do we start off with?
Yeah, welcome to the podcast. That's how we do things.
All right, cool.
Yep.
Start it off.
Start out with a beer. Today we are featuring Myers Brewing out of Fishtown, Philly. And
You were down in Fishtown this weekend?
last week,
Oh, okay.
Thursday, Friday.
Oh, when you worked out there.
Yeah,
I know what
so
you're
shout out
talking
to
about,
Mike Myers. And yes, that is his real name, Mike Myers. He's one of our past clients, good buddies of ours, and he owns Myers Brewing. Overall, crazy businessman and just cool dude. So we wanted to feature one of his beers. I was down there last week working out of his, quote unquote, his office, AKA his brewery, and just picked up a couple 4-packs.
Cool.
So I'm also repping his merch, his gear. So thank you, Mike, for the beer. Thank you for the merch. This beer particularly is called his Farm Truck Lager, classic American lager, 4.9%, a little Sunday sipper.
It smells really good.
Yeah, this is probably more up your alley.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, dude.
Really mellow, really low key. I was explaining to you earlier, again, you're not the beer nerd that I am.
Yeah, I just turned 24, dude. I've been drinking.
But,
I've only been drinking for 3 years.
It's on the books. So lagering is a different fermentation process than brewing a beer with ale yeast, and lagering typically takes closer to 6 weeks, whereas ale yeast is like usually 2 weeks, 10 days or 2 weeks. And lagering also is temperature controlled a little differently, so it's definitely a tougher process, and you don't see a lot of craft brewers or small breweries doing it just because of just pure logistics. It takes them 3 times as long to make a beer, and that's money sitting on the table.
Yeah.
So what Myers has figured out and learned to do is what's called, and I'm just learning about this now, is they adjust the pressure in the fermentation tanks when lagering to really cut down on that fermentation period. So they could basically brew a lager in 2 weeks just like they brew an ale, which I've never heard before, and it's cool to kind of learn new things and hear about new processes and stuff like that. So shout out to them, a very cool process. I got to learn a little bit, and the beer is fantastic. So what do you think?
It's pretty good. I drink this. Typically, I would not get a 4-pack of anything, because anything that's sold in a 4-pack, I'm typically like not.
What's your
fan of it.
adversity to that?
But I would get I just not like a huge IPA guy. Like if I'm gonna get, first off, I really don't drink beers too often. I drink like mixed
Just on
drinks
Fridays at work.
Yeah, just on Fridays at work. But if I'm gonna get a 12-pack of beer, it's typically like, well, first off, it's a 12-pack. You can't really get 12-packs. It's only 4-pack.
Correct.
Like Coronas or things along those lines.
Of course you do.
Yeah, what do you want from me? 24. Like I'm just out there having a good time with the bros. Full send. This isn't this is a connoisseur's beer. You know what I mean? Like you appreciate it, you understand it. I know nothing.
You won't appreciate it.
Yeah, no,
Got it.
And for
All right, fair enough.
what you're gonna get a 4-pack for, But I'm learning, and I'm starting to appreciate it more.
Maybe by the time you're 25,
See?
you'll enjoy some craft. So that's the goal. That's part of the goal with this podcast. So the other part of the goal with this podcast is getting information from past clients, new clients, realtors, having fun.
Yes.
An excuse to drink a beer on a Friday in front of our boss. So let's get into industry stuff or wins, or what do you want to talk about?
Let's get into industry stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was thinking PHFA would be a good one that seems to be on everyone's topic of discussion recently.
Yeah, especially with like the housing, like shopping ramping up during the spring market.
Yeah.
Save a lot of people a lot of money. So do you want to kick it? Or you want me?
Yeah, I mean, it's a longer, broader topic to get into too much, but if you have any specific questions, give us a ring. But kind of the overall idea of it is it's a grant. Well, I should say the KFIT is a grant that everyone is kind of, that's what they care about with PHFA.
Yeah.
It's a grant towards your closing cost, your down payment.
Yeah.
Up to a 5% of the sales price of the property.
Correct.
Forgivable in 10 years, so it basically gets forgiven 10% every year over 10 years. And assuming that you stay in the house for 10 years, it's forgiven completely.
Yep.
Typically reserved for first-time home buyers, although that doesn't need to be the case, and I'll kind of talk about that a little bit with a win that I had this week.
Yeah. With it
else?
being in a special area is what you're
Targeted
saying?
area.
Targeted area.
Yeah, and the distinction being made between a primary residence versus owning other
Yeah.
homes, maybe a second home or an investment,
Yeah.
or maybe you co-signed on a
Maybe
parent's
you
house.
just. I'd just go right into your win, honestly, because your win's like a huge.
Yeah, so
kind of thing to
the
talk about.
win that I had for the week is I took an application. The client did not disclose to us that he owned another property. I don't believe it was malicious. I just don't think he knew.
I don't
He
think
co-signed
he
on a parent's loan and on their note, and just didn't even think twice about it. So turns out that he was a homeowner, and not only a homeowner, but he was on the loan for the home.
Yeah.
Had him qualified for PHFA. It was a perfect program for him. The realtor got him a 6% seller credit. He had a 5% grant, and he was coming out of pocket with like $1,000 out of his own money, something like really insignificant. And the only way it probably would have worked for him is to have all these things converged. So when it got to underwriting, and we found out that he was a homeowner, a little bit of a wrench in the system. But what we learned, or how we figured it out, is that because he co-signed on his parents' house,
Yep.
it's not his primary residence. We could prove that his parents have been paying that mortgage for the past couple of years. So not only do we have to not hit him as a debt for the taxes, the insurance, the mortgage, so on and so forth, but we can pretty much completely ignore that he owned that because it was being taken care of by his parents, and he was just a co-signer. It wasn't his primary residence. So a little bit of a snafu, but it was just kind of like all the stars aligned to get this guy into this house, and with the grant and the seller credit and getting it under contract, and it was just a tough situation to make work.
And what does he have to come to the table with?
Now he's walking away with money.
Yeah,
Between his deposits and paying for his inspections and stuff, he's actually going to be getting a check back at settlement after the grant covers everything.
Crazy.
So I mean, he's psyched. And we settle that, I believe, next week. But I mean, definitely a little bit of a wrinkle this week, and we figured it out, and he's still getting to be.
Now, can we just take a moment and go back to that word you just used, snafu? What did you say?
Snafu. I don't know. It must be an abbreviation for something or an acronym.
Oh, that's gnarly.
I swear to God, at least weekly, I have to teach Mike a new word.
Yeah,
It should be really
Hey,
basic.
let me tell you something. Some of the words that come out of this dude's mouths are way over my head. So, instead of being, I guess ignorant and not wanting to learn, I always ask him. Now, do I have to deal with him making fun of me because I don't know the word? Sure, but I'm gonna learn. So, nobody.
And next week we'll have him use it in a sentence.
Snafu. Yeah, that's gonna be a trick. Whoa. All right, fair enough.
So,
I
that
guess-
was my industry news and my win kind of
Just
put together.
In general, nice, very nice. Yeah, I guess my win for the week would be we're going to be having a lunch and learn for one of the teams that we work with, so I was able to get that all set up, sent out, and I've been kind of staying in front of this particular team that we work with a lot, and it's been nice because I've been getting a lot of good feedback on people who are actually excited to come to it and learn.
Cool.
And they're going to be there. So I'm hoping for a good turnout. Fingers crossed.
Cool. Is it like a lunch thing, a happy hour thing?
It's a lunch thing. It's a lunch and learn. We're going to be bringing an appraiser. They're going to be able to, ask the appraiser how to combat appraisals, low appraisals, things like that. It's a lot. Because, even for us, we see appraisals all the time. And there's still questions we even have on them about how to read them and how to properly, combat an appraisal. And a lot of realtors run into the issue where, it's not their job to understand an appraisal, but a very good realtor will understand one, know how to combat it. So this is what that's to do, is to teach them how that works.
Awesome. I believe you guys are working with Adam Rubin.
Correct.
Yeah, who is one of the best out there. We love working with him. He's
He's an awesome appraiser.
So shout out to Adam.
Shout it out.
Cool. That's exciting. Always good to get out of the office, do something different during the day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this week. And
especially on days like today, man.
Beautiful day. Happy spring, everybody.
Yeah, happy spring.
Feels good.
Dude, spring. I am the spring child. I'm born the first day of spring.
All right.
Yeah,
happy birthday this week, too.
I bring it into the world, Yeah.
Cool. So, see you next week. Thanks for joining us. And go visit Myers Brewing. I believe it's on Girard, just off Frankfurt, down in Fishtown. Across from Lloyd Whiskey, down the street from Craftworks. So a lot of good spots down there, and he's just a overall awesome dude. So we'll tag him in the post.
What's your favorite brewery in the whole world?
We've had this conversation. You can't pick that. It's a longer conversation for off air. Have a good week. See you guys.
Cheers. We got to do cheers.